Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you a quick review of today's trades inside Kick Traders Discord, the Discord that I founded back in 2020. And so what I've been trying to do is do basically videos every day of the trades in there, but also in particular focus on the ones that I am able to take myself and show you the trades and talk you through them a little bit. So hopefully from these videos you'll gain some insights into the decision making processes, the entry exit points, the risk management things, the speed that you need to get into the trades at, all these kind of things that can make the difference between being profitable and maybe not executing on the trade or losing on the trade. So if you're already inside Kick Traders, I highly suggest that you reach out to me or to Lance and discuss ways that you can make these trades work for you better, because they really do work. They're amazing trades, and I think we're really lucky to have Ryan interacting with the Discord and talking to people and explaining his process, as well as having all the great traders in there taking these trades. So let's get started on what happened today. So today there was 3 different trades. I was pretty busy, so I was only able to get into this first one. So this is a screenshot from the Discord, and it was an SPX call option that ran 126%, but then it kept running after everybody had gotten out, and it went up 941%, which is just utterly ludicrous. Nobody got that as far as I know. I think everybody was scalping out at 50% or so. That's what I did, so I took a couple of screenshots here. Hopefully you can see. I've started including all my orders and everything, because people sometimes are, they can't quite understand, like, how do people get in these things. So I want to talk you through this first trade in particular. So these were the screenshots here. I've zoomed in so you can see the contracts above here. So these were the 4130 calls, and these are my orders. And let's look at the chart, let's look at the actual Discord and see how things went on this particular trade. And let's go to the Discord, which is right here. So this first trade came out. This was a crazy day today. I don't think anybody thought the market was just going to trend up all day. I know I didn't. So around 10:51 Central Time, so 11:51 Eastern, so getting on for lunchtime, Ryan or Goldman put out this alert, which is SPX 4130 calls at 195. So if you look at the time here, 10:51, we go over to my thing here. My first order was actually super delayed, so let me zoom in right here. My first order was actually 4 minutes later. So it's definitely something interesting, is you don't always have to chase these. It did actually come back down and retest his entry again, and I ended up just a little bit in higher than him, but like 4 minutes later. So 4 minutes later, 10:51 was right here. So this is the contracts, the call contracts. So this is going up in value on the call contract. So the 10:51 was where Goldman alerted, and then I was distracted and I came back and I got in around here on these contracts, so a similar price, and then this thing just took off and it kept going all the way up to $20. I don't know if you guys can see the scale on the right here. It makes it hard to do these videos sometimes, but I can just mark a couple of levels for you so you can see. So this line here is at the $2 level right here. So Ryan was able to get in on this little dip, but you had another little chance here, so there's no real need to chase this, but 10% profits happens pretty quickly, right? So there's 220, which is 10%, 240, which is another 10%, 260. So I'm just marking up the profit levels here. Then 280, and so on. So you can see these are 10% gains. So this thing really took off and went pretty far. But this is what causes people some problems. If they try and jump in here, then they've already, Ryan might be scaling 20%, and so then they get disheartened, and then it comes down, they panic and sell. And so there's definitely an art and a bit of a skill to getting used to these types of trades. And a lot of it comes down to correct position sizing and just being kind of consistent and bold with your approach. Now, it's kind of funny because today I really messed this up pretty badly, and luckily I got out of it unharmed, but we all make mistakes, right? So if you look at my orders carefully here, I bought 10 contracts at 10:55, so got a good entry on those. So my entry on those was 205, which is fine. I'm okay 5 or 10% above where Ryan gets in on these. So that was my first thing. And then what happened is this thing spiked to 250 pretty quickly, within a minute or something. So yeah, a minute, almost exactly a minute. And I went to sell 40% of my position. And what I actually did in my haste is I bought 4 more. So instead of 10, I ended up with 14. And I didn't realize that, which is very annoying because I thought I'd scaled out and had protected myself a little bit, right? But actually, all I did is raise my average from 205 up towards 250. Obviously not as much as that because it was only 4 contracts, but I ended up with an average of what, 220, something like that, thinking that I'd locked in profits, so kind of a problem. Luckily I noticed that a minute later and I sold 10 and then I sold another 4. This is the time scale, so I think it's important to show the time scale because people do get kind of disgruntled if they're not practicing this and doing these trades regularly, because they do happen quite fast. So the whole trade was only 3 minutes long for me, but I was also 3 minutes late to the whole thing, so really it was a 10-minute trade up to here. Ryan kept holding, so this is just the way I'm playing it. I still have problems holding these things past the first scale or so, and I usually lose out a lot because of that. So that's just the way I'm playing it. So I ended up selling everything at 285. It's like, so yeah, it was kind of a mess, but I was happy with it. $590 in 3 minutes. This is not a huge position size. I think Ryan's using 20 or 30 contracts. This is moderate for moderate size, I'd say. So pretty exciting trade overall. If you look at what Ryan did though, he did a much better job than I did. And I think this is what makes the difference in somebody who's profitable or very profitable or somebody who's breaking even or losing on these trades, is how you scale out, right? So he was able to start scaling out 70%, then 100%. I was nowhere near 100%. I think I had 30% or something. So then he scaled out 126%. So you can see how he made significantly more by scaling out carefully than I did. And so that can weigh everything. It's a big difference, right? So that can make your day profitable or not profitable. So if the one bit of advice for people would be to say, hey, if you're not scaling out, try and hold one contract. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be like, okay, I'm going to scale out 20% or 30% or even 90%, but just leave one contract and just try and build that patience. The way that Ryan does it, because this is what skews his profit and loss. If you guys are finding that maybe it's, you can't quite get these types of gains, it's usually because, well, there's usually 2 reasons. One, you're not getting in quickly enough or carefully enough, and 2, you're not scaling properly, which is hard. I can't do it either, but I managed to get to a point where I'm profitable with these alerts, which is good. And so I wanted to go over that one in detail. There was a couple others throughout the day, so here's the summary again down here. One was a small losing trade. But my point here is, if you'd messed up this first trade, say you only got 10% on this first trade because you scaled out on the first scale, you got in late, you scaled out early, then this one would have really upset you because you probably would have hit a similar thing, like minus 20 or minus 30% even. And so you'd be net negative for the day while Ryan was net positive. And then you probably would have been like, I'm not even going to bother with the last trade, this is whatever. And then it did this, it went from 2.7 to 6.1 very, very quickly. This was a crazy trade as well. A lotto in the last 10 minutes on 0 DTE. So the chances of you getting this one would be pretty low, I would say. Let's even zoom out. I didn't take it, I'm just sitting out on that one. But you can see how easy it is for the way you play these to influence your opinion or your overall results on these trades. And I think it's really important to work on because it's not easy. This is a great strategy and it's very, very high win rate, but it's also very difficult, so you have to really practice it and really work on it. And I think that pays off though for a lot of people. For another reason is if you just miss a trade, it can really annoy you, but statistically over time these trades win so much that you should be able to make an overall net profit pretty well. Anyway, the market is looking interesting. I think I didn't expect to see this today. So this was the SPX today, just rallied all the way up here. Every dip just being bought. And so I think we're in an interesting position. I hope that the bank's earnings tomorrow don't crash this back down, because if you look at the 1 year 1 day, it's trend that I've been kind of a fan of. We've seen these higher lows, not much higher, but a little bit higher. This one's just a little bit higher. We're hopefully, for all these people that have long-term holdings or IRAs or whatever, hopefully we're going to see this start to go and break these highs again, continue this uptrend that we've been in for a little bit now. So to me, this is an uptrend. It's kind of sideways uptrend, but it's an uptrend, slow uptrend. And so I'd love to see this break out and continue up for people that are holding longer term stuff that want to get out of it. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. If you haven't had a chance to join, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can come and check out the Discord where we're doing these alerts. We have almost 200 people in there doing these trades and discussing them. I think there's lots of different ways of playing them. I'm planning to do some videos about how I sometimes play SPY rather than SPX on these. Like on this last trade that we did, I took it using SPY rather than SPX. So I just did near the money 413 puts for this guy, 413 puts, quite close to the money, and did the next day expirations. So I got a quick 10%, not this 126%, but this was a wild trade. This went down 50% or something before it went up 126%. So there's a lot of little tricks you can play. Playing SPY on these and extending the expiration is probably the most conservative and easy way to change the way you play these if you're not happy with how volatile they are. So just one little tip for you there. Alright, I'll leave a link in the description so that you can go and join this Discord, and I'll see you in there hopefully.